Alright, we're going to try something here. Now I'm playing a game of one pocket. This is my pocket. And I need 2 balls. Alright? My opponent has a lot of balls in front of his pocket too. So I don't want to sell that out. But in this particular situation, I can win the game. If I make the 12, then the 4. Fairly obvious, I think, if you're playing one pocket. So, as I go to shoot this 12, I have to decide what is my main primary goal of shooting of this shot. Now, I usually have 2, and I do not have the mental capacity to try to do them both. And that's kind of what the topic of this is. Is my goal to pocket the 12, or is my goal to control the cue ball? In this case, my goal is to pocket the 12. Paying attention to the cue ball, but it's a secondary goal. And this is one of the really neat realizations I had a couple of years ago, was instead of trying to use up my brain, what limited capacity I have on making a shot and controlling the cue ball, I would, in this case, just decide, okay, I'm going to shoot a stop shot at this cue ball. Once I decide what my speed is and where I'm going to hit the cue ball, then I can take it out of my mind and put every bit of my focus into making this 12. I no longer have to worry about stopping the cue ball. I'd already made that decision before I even pulled the trigger. So I could put 100% of my focus back on pocketing the ball, which is the most important thing in that case. In this case, the same deal. What's my goal right here? Make 4. I'm a little bit elevated, so maybe I don't want to try to make the 4 and draw back. But let's just pretend that I did. If I'm afraid I'm going to miss the 4, and I'm playing, Alex or somebody, then maybe I want to draw back. So that means I'm going to hit a load a little bit firmer. I make that decision, and then I don't worry about the cue ball at all anymore. All I do is make the 4, and with this decision that I had before, and I just happen to draw the cue ball back. That's, like I said, that's the big realization that I had here a couple years ago. Now, let's get in the same situation. And now let's do this. I still need 2. Making this 10 is no longer very likely at all. So do I want to put my entire focus into making a 10 when it's not very damn likely? No. At this point, my goal of this shot is going to be to control the cue ball. To suck the cue ball back to here somewhere. Meanwhile, the 10 is just going to happen because of the decisions that I'm making to go up there and come to here, maybe break this shit up, maybe not. But my number one goal is going to be to draw the cue ball back. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the decisions of basically which direction I want that 10 to go in. Okay, where do I hit the 10 to get it to do that? And that's about it. Everything else is just about drawing this cue ball back. Because it's all that I have to do. I didn't have to, well, if I make it, then I'm awesome. But I didn't make it. It wasn't my goal anyway. There's so many shots like this that have got me into trouble in the past. And I am bad at examples. I'm horrible at it. But I'm going to try to just do just a couple along the same. The thing is to pick a goal. Let's see here. Very simple example, right? Playing one pocket, now this is my pocket. I don't shoot the 10 and play shape for the 11. the mindset that I'm trying to have is I'm going to shoot to 10 with the amount of follow, English top, whatever I decide, where I'll just happen to get shape on the 11. I'm not playing shape. I'm going to happen to get shape. And my number one goal can go back and put in that 14 in the hole. Now, in this situation, it looks like about noon. This is a pretty easy setup. About noon and hard enough to get the cue ball to bounce back over here. So hit the cue ball at 12 o'clock. Do that. Not playing shape for 11. But if I make the 14, once I make the 14, then I'm going to get shape. Just like that. I didn't have to worry about two different things. I didn't have to worry about, oh, good shot, making the ball and getting shape. Didn't have to worry about it. That was a very big realization for me. Instead of struggling with, doing more than one thing at the same time. The human brain, at least my human brain, can only think of one thing at a time. And trying to get to think of two things at the same time, you might get it wrong. You might miss the ball. If I want to shoot the 14, in this case, I would never shoot the 14 first. But let's say I'm going to shoot the 14 first and come around for the 11. This is pretty much just a speed issue, right? I don't have to worry about it. I shouldn't have to worry about it. Once I decide, okay, about 4 o'clock, medium speed, if I make the 14, I'm going to get a shot at the 11. Now, I'm not playing shape for the 11. I'm just shooting this 14, coming around for the 14. Kind of thought about not going. Look, just happened to get shape for 11. I didn't play shape for it. Just happened to get it because I can't make the 11. Come on, that was funny. That was a big realization for me in 2018. I've been struggling with, of course, trying to improve like everybody else, and trying to, see, okay, what's everything I want to do? I don't want to just make a shot. I want to get shape on the next shot with the proper angle, things like that. Not too many things going on in my head, and I was missing. It was making me miss a shot, and it just got frustrating. And then what I've started doing since then is figure out a way to get the shape. And that's the first decision. And once you decide, it's out of your hands. Once I pulled the trigger on that 14, it was out of my hands whether I was going to get shape on the 11 or not. But because of the decisions I had made before about where I was going to hit the cue ball and what speed, I was guaranteed to get shape on the 11. I didn't have to play shape for it. That was a big thing for me. And the same thing on cue ball control shots. Pick a goal. I think there's really only two goals. You're either trying to make a ball or you're trying to control the cue ball. Now, sure, you could do both, but pick one to focus on and let the other one just be, you just happen to do it. You just happen to control the cue ball while you're putting that ball in the hole. Or maybe you just happen to put the ball in the hole while you were controlling the cue ball. Pick one, give your brain one thing to think about. I think this is very important. It was very important for me, and it's helped me a lot with not having my brain all cluttered up with all these different things that can go wrong on a shot. Now, let me just cover that. I didn't want this to be too long, but it already is. It's already too long. So let's just say, play on one pocket, I'm going to shoot the 14 down in the corner. It's possible I could scratch on this shot. But going back and scratch on this shot would be like if I put a little bit of follow on it. Then I could do that and scratch. That's the only way. Odds are always right, was right in the middle of the pocket. So, don't do that. Put a little bit of bottom on it. And once I realized that and make that decision, then I don't have to worry about the scratch at all. Because it will never happen. If I have bottom on this cue ball and any kind of decent stroke at all, there's no way I'm going to scratch in that corner. So I don't have to worry about it. I go back to putting all of my focus back into just putting this 14 in the pocket. And not scratch. I wasn't worried about scratching because it was not possible for it to happen. You can have the same kind of a setup going this way. This time I could scratch with a center ball. The cue ball could slide off the one into the corner, into the pocket. Don't put center ball on it. Just put a little bit of follow on it. Doesn't take much in this case. Just put a little bit of follow on it. Now that I've decided I'm putting follow on the shot, I no longer have to worry about whether I scratch or not. All I have to worry about is putting it in the pocket. These were very big mental attitude changes for me that I wish I had thought of, when I first started playing pool in the 1980s. But I didn't. I waited until 2018 when I was already an old man. So maybe you're younger. I don't know. I'm rambling. All right, I'm just adding to the other clip, just real briefly. I'm going to correct myself and maybe expand on this a little bit. I said that there's basically two goals for a shot, and to pick one. That's the attitude that I'm trying to have. You can do whatever the hell you want. You're probably an adult. Put the 6 in this case, would be my primary goal. Other shots I may be trying to control the cue ball. There's a third goal. And that's don't be a dumbass and don't scratch. So, I have this issue that I call it split brain syndrome. Trying to think of too many things at once. Worrying about the scratch when I'm supposed to be worrying about putting the 6 in this case. But to do the same thing, just like I just got done showing, once I put bottom on it, then I no longer have to worry about the scratch at all. And I don't. Take the parts of the shot, split them up, pick them apart, whatever, and then figure out how to do the least important ones. And then once you figure out how to do them, you put them out of your mind completely and focus just on putting the ball in the hole. That's what you can do, and that's the attitude I'm having. But anyway, yeah. So there's that third goal, which doesn't necessarily come up on every shot, or maybe it does. I don't know. Look right here. Put 6 in. Don't follow it in like a dumbass. Perfectly straight shot. So, what's my most important thing here? I believe it's still just make the 6. All I got to do is put enough bottom on it to shoot a stop shot or draw back. That's the only decision that I have to make. Now that my tip was pointed at the bottom of that cue ball, I don't have to worry about anything else except put the 6 in. That's all I have to worry about. Setting that shot up just reminded me of something, and I have to think out loud just a little bit here. What's a good scenario? So I'm playing one pocket, and I need them both, and that's my pocket. My opponent needs one, because he's like that. He likes to hang balls in his pocket and make me follow it in. So now at this point I have two goals. Put the 6 in and follow it in. I believe in this case that my primary goal is going to be to follow it in. Say I'm off a little bit, I'm not quite in the center. I want to make sure that I hit the 6 in such a way that the cue ball is going to follow it in. That's a little bit of a tricky situation because, yeah, there are two things that have to happen on that shot. Another situation might be something like this. Same deal. I need them both, and this is my pocket. Now I can either follow it in, or I can try to draw back. At this point, you know, I think it was possible to screw either one of those things up. Maybe this is one of those special cases where putting all of my focus into just making a 6 and the cue ball is you know, an afterthought, or vice versa, put all my focus into drawing the cue ball back and the 6 just happens to go in. Maybe this is a situation where this stuff I've been talking about isn't going to work. But this is why some pool players are better than others, is maybe they can handle those types of situations. Well, better than others. They certainly can. And I wanted to add what I just said to this video that you just got done watching. Later.